Today's reading is Shrek from the Sexypedia Wiki. Spoilers ahead! This article contains major spoilers about this sexy person and/or their source material. Please proceed with caution. Content warning. This page covers sensitive subject matter. If you are disturbed by the following topics: pedophilia, fan section only, please proceed with caution or refrain from reading this entry altogether. Shrek is the main protagonist of the titular film series, and is a large green ogre who originally lived a solitary life in his swamp while occasionally scaring away people who wanted to attack him simply for being an ogre. Eventually, he'd make friends and find love in Princess Fiona, who, thanks to Shrek, embraced her ogre side. He would have to deal with royal life before eventually settling home in his swamp with his newfound family. His appearances aren't limited to films, however, because he's also appeared in several video games. Most of them are related to his home series, with Shrek Super Slam being one of the most notable due to its status as a Shrek-branded fighting game. He's also appeared as a guest character in Tony Hawk Underground 2 and Madagascar Racing. Additionally, he was also the star of Shrek the Musical, an adaptation of the first film, and was originally a character from the children's book Shrek. For an in-depth look, read his Wiki Shrek page. His class is Keter, and his source is Shrek. Archetypes. Angst. Yes, really. For what it's worth, Shrek is considered to be quite lonely due to a solitary lifestyle until he met Donkey and Fiona. Later films reveal that his father tried to eat him at a young age, and he fears that he won't be a good father to his kids. In Shrek Forever After, once the novelty of being a real ogre wears off, he realizes that he accidentally created a timeline where his family no longer exists, forcing him to foil Rumpelstiltskin's plans. British/distinctive voice. Shrek is voiced by Mike Myers, known also as Austin Powers. Shrek himself is voiced with a Scottish accent, which as it turned out ended up being the better choice over Chris Farley, who was set to voice Shrek originally. Duality/feminine splintering. In Shrek 2, Shrek and Donkey consume a potion in the film that transforms them, making them more conventionally beautiful. Shrek is turned into a handsome white man, and there is the possibility that Shrek's ogre and human selves have been shipped. Grime/unkempt/non-human. Shrek is a green-skinned ogre who wears a dirty white and brown outfit, and whom lives in a swamp. The first movie opens with Shrek's daily routine, involving showering in mud and brushing his teeth. Shrek regularly gets covered in mud, dirt, soot, and other forms of uncleanliness. Johnlocked. Shrek and Fiona are the canonical couple in a common ship, though it's likely that Shrek x Donkey and other ships may exist. Parental figure. Shrek ends up becoming a father in Shrek the Third, and during the beginning of Shrek Forever After, is seen taking his kids to a birthday party. Power. Shrek is a physical force to be reckoned with, being able to easily defeat Lord Farquaad's knights, is able to survive against Dragon, and is able to hold his own in combat. In the fighting game Shrek Super Slam, he's considered a heavy-type character and is ideal for beginners due to his powerful set of skills. Power of love. Due to a solitary lifestyle, Shrek does have somewhat of a selfish streak. It takes Princess Fiona to make him realize that love exists and allows him to break out of his shell. Begrudgingly, his friend Donkey has helped him more than he'd like to admit. Quotable catchphrases.
What are you doing in my swamp?
Can't we just settle this over a pint?
Onions have layers.
Ogres have layers. Oh, hello there! Better out than in, I always say.
Royalty. Shrek briefly becomes king of Far, Far Away after King Harold passes away at the beginning of Shrek the Third. This doesn't last when Shrek decides he hates the royal duties and sets off to find Artie, the true heir to the throne. Smartdom. Though Shrek knows how to survive dealing with human mobs in his swamp, Shrek has to learn to adapt to the outside world when he has to deal with Lord Farquaad in order to get the fairy tale creatures out of his swamp. Shrek 2 and Shrek the Third had Shrek adapt to life in the city of Far, Far Away, and the royal associations tied with Fiona's heritage. Theme song. Shrek is often associated with All-Star because it was the song playing during the opening in the first film. Whenever that song is talked about, there will be at least one mention of Shrek himself. The only other two themes associated is Fairy Tale, which plays during certain scenes throughout the films, and Holding Out for a Hero, associated with the iconic scene in Shrek 2, where Shrek goes off to rescue Fiona from Prince Charming and the fairy godmother. In the 90s prototype, he is also singing James Brown's I Feel Good, but most of this is sadly still lost media. Villain protagonist. In the original book the series was based on, Shrek is a hideous ogre who is capable of breathing fire, causes reptiles to cower, and any snake dumb enough to bite him to die. When his parents kick him out, he meets a fortune teller, and after that, sets off to find the princess who is even uglier than he is. After finding her, they both live horribly ever after, scaring anyone in their way. For what it's worth, several elements in the plot were adapted in the films. Shrek leaving a swamp, meeting a donkey and rescuing a princess while confronting a dragon in the first film and the nightmare about children in the third one. Though Shrek himself is portrayed as an anti-hero in the films, rather than the villain protagonist he was in the book. Dilf. Shrek literally becomes a father in Shrek 3. Fanon tropes. Controversial. In canon, Shrek isn't really a controversial character, though he was subversive back then when the first two films were released. The internet had other ideas. A green text on 4chan, known as Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life, tells the story of a 9-year-old who loved Shrek so much that they had all of his merchandise, and is described to have a borderline religious obsession with the ogre. After being sent to bed by their father, Shrek shows up before proceeding to have sex with them. After that, Shrek leaves through the window. This was later adapted as a Gary's Mind animation with a few sequels. Suffice to say, it's easily the most infamous thing in the Shrek fandom due to the green text mentioning Shrek having sex with a minor, a far cry from his canon self. The second one, on the other hand, is canon and revolves around his design in the Shrek 5 movie, where people are freaked out about it, saying it looks nothing like Shrek. John Locked. Outside of his home series, Shrek's ships tend to get a tad more bizarre. Shadow the Hedgehog and Joe Biden are only two of many examples, and the most popular when it comes to other Shrek-related crack ships, though others do exist.